Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. When it comes to understanding XRP and really even crypto in general, some people are just hopeless. Absolutely, utterly hopeless. And you know me, right? I love diversity of thought. It can be super duper fun, but I gotta tell you, sometimes I hear some opinions on specific topics from certain people, and I just sit there in stunned disbelief, thinking to myself, it should be illegal to be this stupid. Like, sometimes it just hits like that. And so I just think about how game-changing XRP will be on a fundamental perspective if it continues to be adopted. Now, in the short term, fundamentals don't matter to the market in terms of price action. The whole market's just moving together. But ultimately, if you're talking about long-term viability, yeah, XRP is solving a real-world problem that it can only be solved with a technologically sufficient, decentralized cryptocurrency that also has an open market price, and all of those things are absolutely required. The problem that XRP is solving as a bridge currency specifically, and there are tons of other use cases, but specifically as a bridge currency, it can't be done with a stable coin or any sort of central bank digital currency, a bank coin. You can't solve the global problem, the global train wreck that is the world of cross-border payments, because it doesn't matter how technologically advanced your little bank coin is, it doesn't address the fundamental issue of trust, which is why decentralization is absolutely crucial to all of this for this particular use case. This is why an open market price is also important, because you need to have a sufficient blended price and liquidity on top of that all. So I want to share with you some ridiculous statements from a very popular economist. He's known the world over, Paul Krugman. Yay. Also, though, I want to highlight some other ridiculous behavior, because even people in crypto, even if you think that there is something to crypto and you're part of the masses and you just don't know for sure which cryptos are going to win, my gosh, take a look at this headline. And I actually covered this in a recent video, so I'll be brief on this, but I need it to make this point, to make an even bigger point. But here's an article from you today. More than 755,000 crypto traders liquidated in one day. Some people are having a bad time. But so look, just the fact that happened, that doesn't mean that crypto's bad or it's going away or this or that. People are making hopelessly terrible financial decisions, even outside of the discussion of fundamentals, but this isn't going away. And look at this. Here's a headline from you today also. Breaking: Wells Fargo becomes latest banking giant, latest banking giant to make foray into crypto. My friends, this is not going away, and to think anything to the contrary, like, we're at a point now with crypto having been around for 12 years where if you still think that it's going away, like, you need to ask yourself genuinely, what is it that you don't get? Because the people that are on crypto get it. Gosh. And look, to be clear, I don't have a financial background, so I'm not offering financial advice. Definitely don't buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I just think it's fun to make YouTube videos as a fun hobby, talking about Ripple and XRP and Bitcoin and crypto in general. That's all that's going on here. But look, take a look at this. Take a look at this thread on Twitter from Paul Krugman. It's just absurd. Now, I want to talk about my aha moment in crypto a little bit, to kind of flesh out my thoughts on this, because as going through this, XRP just kept coming to mind for me. So here's what Paul Krugman wrote. I don't write much about Bitcoin because there aren't any fundamentals to discuss. Ooh, that's a sick burn right there. Sick burn. Bitcoin isn't a new innovation. It's been around since 2009, and in all that time, nobody seems to have found any good legal use for it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna pause there. Did you see that second sick burn right there? He didn't just say that there isn't any good use for it, there isn't any good legal use for it, indicating that there's all sorts of useful things you can do if you're nefarious, if you want to do illegal things. Now, of course, never mind that in reality, almost no transactions that occur on the Bitcoin blockchain or crypto in general have anything to do with anything nefarious, with the primary reason being that the blockchain is public. Okay, you're not anonymous utilizing Bitcoin. You're like pseudo-anonymous. That at best, that is it. So this idea that it's some sort of perfect vehicle for illegal stuff, no. In fact, if you've got a problem with that, you better combat against the U.S. dollar and every fiat currency in existence, which would make no sense, of course. But your argument doesn't make sense. And then he writes the following. It's not a convenient medium of exchange. It's not a stable store of value. It's definitely not a unit of account. Okay, let's pause again. Let's break this down. It's not a convenient medium of exchange. Well, look, if you think that Bitcoin is still trying to be money, fine, we can talk about that. But if you're talking about utilizing Bitcoin to purchase stuff, maybe if Lightning Network perhaps works one day, maybe you could have that. But I don't think that you're using a proper valuation model, frankly. And so I just throw that out. Almost nobody on the planet cares about using any cryptocurrency in place of money. Now, some people do, and maybe you listening to this, maybe you're one of them, in which case I say thumbs up. Do whatever you want to do. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying I'm just acknowledging most people don't want to do that, including me, because that would add friction to my life and tax implications. I'm in the United States, so it certainly would. Because every single transaction is a taxable event because the government needs to pull its head out of its rear side and figure out why that is stupid. But that's a whole different conversation. And then he said this, it's not a stable store of value. Now, that's true of XRP too, right? Well, so XRP not a store of value then? Well, take a look at this. Here's a chart. This looks like a crypto chart, doesn't it? You know what it is? It's the gold price chart dating back to May of 2007. And so if you are adding into the definition of store of value that it must be stable, well, stable relative to what? Because 1 ounce of gold is always 1 ounce of gold. 1 Bitcoin is always 1 Bitcoin. One XRP is always one XRP. But you're talking about it in relationship to something else. And so the fact that it's volatile in relationship, Bitcoin is in relationship to the United States dollar, that somehow means that it shouldn't be a store of value. And so you see what he did there. He didn't write that it's not a store of value. It's like he's changing his own narrative a little bit along the ways. It's not a stable store of value. But what store of value is a stable store of value? Because the United States dollar, pick your fiat currency, they're pretty all just getting printed into oblivion. That doesn't look stable to me. Look at the price of gold relative to the United States dollar here. My gosh, look at this. Because look, an ounce of gold is currently worth $1,878. In 2007, it was worth about $600, according to this chart. Think about that. And then it rallied up, and then it dipped down dramatically over the last 14 years, roughly. It's been very dramatic. How is that a store of value? Is that stable to you, Paul Krugman? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense to me. Like, it's hard to take your comments with any amount of seriousness. It is. And then you're plugging stuff in here like legal use and stable store. Like, come on, man. And then he wrote and as far as it not being a unit account, well, throw that out too, because if you're talking about unit of account, that's just like if you go to buy something on Amazon, it's not denominated in Bitcoin. Whatever you want to purchase, it's denominated in dollars. And so given that people aren't using cryptocurrency for money by and large, why would you expect it to be functionally used as a unit of account? Now, that being said, cryptocurrencies can be used as a medium of exchange, and they can be a unit of account. I'm just saying in practice, I would certainly see the point that it's not being done, but it can be done. And there are people, probably some listening to this, that are actually using cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin or whatever else, as a medium of exchange. And you can find websites where you can purchase stuff with XRP or Bitcoin or pick your crypto, and it's unit of account right there. It absolutely, that fits the definition of unit of account. And so Paul Krugman, famous economist, and I don't think he's stupid. I just think he's bad at analyzing stuff. I don't think he's actually stupid. But man, in terms of getting the bigger picture, it's hilarious, the perspective here, and to think that you're still right after 12 years, and crypto just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But wait till you see what he thinks of you if you're into Bitcoin and crypto. Check this out. So he proceeds. Its value rests on the perception that it's a technologically sophisticated way to protect yourself from the inevitable collapse of fiat money, which is coming one of these days, or maybe one of these centuries. Okay, so think about that, though. Its value rests on the perception that it's technologically sophisticated and will protect yourself. Okay. Well, what the hell do you think money is? I mean, yeah, you can cite these technical things, medium of exchange, unit of account, store of value, all of this, but isn't it also a trust system? Because what the hell is the dollar backed by? Nothing. And even when it was backed by gold, if that would have been your answer, I would have said, okay, what's gold backed by? Nothing. It's a trust system, right? And so given that absolutely is the case here, why is it a problem for Bitcoin or crypto to have an open market price based on trust and perception? Why is it not okay for Bitcoin and crypto to have that price, open market price, based on the perception, but it is okay from your perspective for it to take place with gold and with the United States dollar? How does that make logical sense? Well, it doesn't, right? Of course it does not. Open your damn mind, son. And so then he writes, and then, or as I say, because here's how little he thinks of people that are that are in a crypto road. Or as I say, libertarian derp plus technobabble. Technobabble. Oh man, the highfalutin Bitcoin with the satoshis. What's an NFT? Blah, 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 blah. Block time. All right, old timer. So, and then as far as the libertarian derp comment, that's obviously designed to be insulting to everybody that's into crypto, including you and me. I don't get butthurt easily, so I'm fine on this. But I'm just saying, as far as libertarian derp, it's funny. It's like basically he's downplaying the degree to which it is a problem for the United States dollar and fiat currencies to be printed into oblivion. As if that wouldn't eventually result in a collapse, even if way in the future. It's just shocking to me. Yeah, like the degree to which you have to be ignorant to think that. And then he writes the following. But I've given up predicting imminent demise. There always seem to be a new crop of believers. Maybe just think of it as a cult that can survive indefinitely. Okay. So if you think about this, if you have a perception or a trust within United States dollar or gold, that's fine. But as soon as you do it to this weird techno stuff, the Bitcoin magic internet money, now you're just a cultist. It's completely absurd. And so another thing that he doesn't recognize, because he hasn't done sufficient research, but man, he's got some strong opinions on this. He doesn't recognize that there are businesses that can only exist, as I cited at the outset, if there is such a thing as a technologically sufficient decentralized cryptocurrency that has an open market price, like XRP, for example. Oh, well, how about that? And XRP doesn't have to be used as money, although some people do use it as money. It doesn't have to be used like that for it to have value and an open market price. And value and price are two different things in my book. And I try to not use those terms interchangeably, though even I make a mistake of doing that sometimes. But value, when I'm talking about value, it's what problem are you functionally solving? Because if something is solving a problem, that represents value. And if something has value, then it deserves to exist in perpetuity with an open market price. That's what I would say. And so, again, there are business models that exist today that can only exist because of such cryptocurrencies. That represents value. And if it represents value, then it deserves to have an open market price. Of course it does. That's why I had my aha moment in November of 2017, excuse me, when I recognized that there were business models that could not exist without this technology. And it's not just the technology, it's because of the implications of the technology from a trust perspective. And this is totally lost on him. This is totally lost on him. He says it's libertarian derp and the technobabble. It just doesn't make any damn sense here. And so think about it. What's done with the SWIFT system, for example, part of the legacy financial system, the train wreck that is specifically the settlement portion, humans have not devised a solution, and I literally mean that. There is no human-devised solution for settlement. So if you want to just not fix the problem, okay, then don't worry about cryptocurrency. But if you do want to fix the settlement portion, then you need to have a decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price, and there's only one that's being positioned for that in the entire world today out of over 8,000 cryptocurrencies, and it is, you guessed it, XRP. And if another one comes along that ends up being a position for that, I'll be very interested. I already own a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. It's not like I'm going to be threatened by it. If I think that there's a promise for that, if it's actually getting positioned by some sort of entity, and yeah, maybe I'd buy a bunch of it too. Why the hell not? I don't have a problem with that. I'm not convinced that's ever going to happen for a number of reasons that would be outside the scope of this video, but if it ever does, fine, super duper. And so this guy just doesn't freaking get it. But a lot of people don't get it. Like, they don't get the fundamentals, and people don't get the market cycles. And I just sometimes think, and I'm an optimist, mind you, just in the general sense. I'm a realist, but I think optimist also. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. But sometimes I see stuff like this, and then I see the way people treat money and invest in crypto and make very poor decisions, and I'm just like, oh my God, everything is hopeless. Not actually, but some people, I just like, what are you doing with your money? Like, what is your malfunction here? And so if you take a look at something like this, for example, This is the headline from you today. More than 755,000 crypto traders liquidated in one day. And so this is, I'm talking about yesterday, of course, when the market tanked. Bitcoin got down to a little under $31,000, and it's since rebounded quite a bit, at least at the time I'm recording this. But man, some people made some horrible decisions. And no offense to you if you're out there. I think you know at this point, though, if you're one of these people that did this, I think you know you made a boo-boo. But take a look at this. According to data provided by Bybit, more than 755,000 cryptocurrency traders have been liquidated over the past 24 hours. To put things into perspective, this equals the entire population of a major city like Seattle. In fact, a single Huobi trader lost $67 million with one Bitcoin trade that went awry. And so, look, leverage, my God, I would never expose myself to that personally. You do whatever you want. I'm not offering financial advice, but for me, no, never. To be in a position where if things don't go well, I could be liquidated and lose everything, that sounds substantially worse than just holding my cryptocurrency and not doing that. You know, that seems substantially worse. No, thank you, sir, I'm at it. I would not be doing that, such shenanigans. But look, there's so much to this. I mean, I don't want people to lose money, but that is a poor decision. I think anyway. It's not that I want people to lose money. That's why I'm hoping people learn from this, and I'm hoping that it's really just a bunch of new people that are making such poor decisions here. But why would you open yourself up to that level of risk? Like, crypto is already risky enough in my book, at least. But to expose yourself to that additional risk, leverage, like, ugh, no thank you at all. But even so, look, there's still something to this, and look, I believe that the market is going to keep rallying back, even if we see a lot of sideways trading for some time. I'm not alarmed, because this crypto asset class, because, fine, happy to admit, most cryptocurrencies don't do anything, but XRP is the diamond in the rough, and there are some others that actually do stuff. And those cryptocurrencies that are solving real-world problems, they're going to be here in perpetuity for the long haul, so long as they continue to solve a problem. Fundamentals will sufficiently matter at some unknown point in the future, because humans, whether cryptocurrency exists or not, they can recognize value, even if it's not 100% clear at the outset, which is why you also saw during the dot-com boom and bust a tremendous bubble inflate. I think at the time, valued at something like $6 trillion, that bubble popped. It didn't mean that the internet was going away. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot to cover this. This is hilarious. So back to Paul Krugman real quick, because I almost forgot. This is important. And I was aware of this quote for some time, but I have to mention it in this video. Paul Krugman's bad at stuff in terms of, anticipation of what's going to happen in the future here. So here's a quote from Paul Krugman in 1998, and this is hilarious. By 2005 or so, it will become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has been no greater than the fax machines. Oh, yes, so those good old facsimile machines. My gosh. So he thought the internet wouldn't be a thing, and what are you using to listen to me? Is it the internet? I think you're using the internet, aren't you? Oh my God. Why is he wrong about everything that has it? Because he doesn't get the technobabble. That's what he doesn't know the technobabble, and he doesn't want to be part of an internet call, right? And then, and it's a bunch of derp. So, I mean, if you're Paul Krugman, it all makes perfect sense here. This is ridiculous. But look, he is so wrong, and he needs to look inward at this point and be like, okay, what do I not get? Because he's really not getting it. Take a look at this headline, just to illustrate how big this has gotten. And even with how big it is today, though, I'm still excited just in the general sense, because the size of the crypto asset class and the problems being solved today, it's going to look like nothing if you fast forward another, I don't know, pick an arbitrary amount of time, 10 years, 15, 20 years, whatever. It's crazy, but the smartest people on the planet are jumping in. And so if you look at this, Wells Fargo becomes latest banking giant to make foray into crypto. San Francisco headquartered banking giant Wells Fargo is set to add its own cryptocurrency strategy for wealthy clients by mid-June, according to Business Insider. Think about this. So to all the people that got wiped out, and some of them they voluntarily exited, they're like, oh, they just panic sold near the bottom when Bitcoin was crashing the other day. The smart money is not running. They are jumping in. And what do you think is going to happen over the long haul, especially with an asset like XRP that, yeah, it's up a lot compared to what it was several months ago, but my gosh, I still personally don't think that the best of the price action for XRP that will happen this market cycle has happened yet. I don't think we've seen it yet. We haven't even hit the previous all-time high, right? But anyway, continuing on this article, Daryl Cronk, the president of Wells Fargo Investment Institute, claims that the bank now views crypto as a viable investable asset. Well, how about that? And here's a quote. We think the cryptocurrency space has just kind of hit an evolution and maturation of its development that allows it now to be a viable investable asset. Welcome to the party, Wells Fargo. Can you just poke Paul Krugman and just be like, hey, come on, figure it out. It's just amazing to me. And the opportunity that's been missed, because Paul Krugman, man, he's known about Bitcoin since at least 2013, if not sooner. He's been writing negative articles about it forever, just saying it's predicting its demise, just like he predicted the internet would be not a big thing. And he's given that up. At least he's no longer predicting the demise. He just thinks that it's a bunch of new cultists coming on board. Absolutely astonishing. Absolutely astonishing that because it's magic internet money, like you can have a trust system in man-created United States dollars or pick your fiat currency. You can have a trust system in gold, but you can't have a trust system in a unit of Bitcoin. Why? Completely absurd. So look, for a lot of people, it's hopeless. They're going to miss out on fundamentals. A lot of people are going to miss out because they don't know what the hell they're doing in terms of trading. And I think trading is just stupid for the vast majority of humans in terms of what it means, instead of trading, like just holding. But I guess a more precise way to say what I'm really thinking is so many people are going to miss out because they can't simply freaking hold XRP. You know, they get freaked out. And I think the truth of the matter is if you could magically fast forward another decade, as long as XRP is still solving a problem, because at some point utility will matter, I think you'll see that even if you buy right now, despite all the volatility that's going to happen, I'm willing to bet that as long as XRP continues to actually functionally be useful, I believe if you fast forward a decade or 2 or 3 or whatever, pick your arbitrary time, it's going to be worth substantially more than it is today, even after a market retrace, I think. So there we are. But for some people are just hopeless. Oh my God. Like, why is logic and reason so hard for some people? I just don't get it. I'll wrap up there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Nambo.